You're tuned into Visions, a business and community affairs program designed to encourage and promote entrepreneurship in Central Alabama.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Vision. Cedric Varner, your host. In the studio with us today is Mrs. Avalisha Fisher, who is the president of Driven Engineering. Mrs. Fisher, thank you for being here today. Now, Driven Engineering, you're actually based out of Mobile, and is the word actually Sims?
Yes.
Alabama.
Sims.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here. You are a professional engineer.
I'm a civil engineer.
Professional civil engineer, you know, so you got the credential behind your name, PE.
That's right.
Okay, and one of the things you are also DBE, and you got a lot of designations and credentials, but we wanted to talk to you about your business, your engineering firm. You primarily do, is it civil engineering?
Yes.
Okay.
Primarily civil engineering.
Okay, because you have a great website, extensive information on there. You got a lot of things that you do, but one of the kind of things that we wanted to ask you starting out is, when we say your business, what kind of business specifically do you do?
Well, civil engineering is our core area of expertise, but we also have two geologists that do environmental consulting. They do phase 1 and phase 2 ESAs and tank closures and all kinds of hydrogeological things. We also have a couple of lead paint inspectors, and we do dam inspections, and we just completed an economic study for USDA where we studied the economic impact of renewable energy projects all over the United States. Basically wrote the benchmark report that USDA is going to use to determine what type of renewable energy projects are going to generate jobs.
Wow. For all over the U.S.?
Yes, we did this for Washington, D.C.'s office of USDA.
Wow. How long did that project take?
About 7 months.
Wow. Did you have to travel?
Yes, we did. We sent people to Washington, Oregon, Vermont. We went to Washington to meet with USDA. We sent people to Tennessee. There was a long list of states that we went to visit that had different projects going on or were in the works that we studied.
Wow. Well, so the USDA is going to use your research as they are developing their policy?
Yes.
Excellent.
That's just one of the things that we do.
Yeah, I was looking at your website. You just got a whole portfolio of things, and we want to try to go into some of those a little bit more in detail. But one of the other questions we wanted to ask you about is your decision to go into business for yourself. How did this decision come about for you?
At previous employment, I had 2 other major places of employment after I graduated college. The first one of those, which was the longest engagement I had, I wasn't happy with the quality of work that I was able to get out. Too much last minute letting me know about the project, not having enough time to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. The second place of employment, I didn't think the ethical concerns were being addressed. So I wanted to do better than that, and I thought the only way to do better than that was to do it myself.
Wow. And so this process, what was the amount of time that it took from when you started thinking about doing it for yourself to when you actually launched out there?
Well, I had always wanted to do it for myself, always, but seriously considering it, probably 6 months from the time that we said, this is something we're going. As a matter of fact, as a little kind of sideline, I had been thinking about the name of the business probably 6 or 7 months before I left my employers, and had gone through an array of choices. I had looked online. I wanted to see what websites were already taken, what kind of business names were already used and what weren't. And one of the first things I did once I did choose the name was trademark it, so nobody else could use it. So anyway, I had a friend of mine who's done graphic arts and things for the Olympics and stuff like that. His name is Scott Scheinfeld. He helped me with the logo design. He gave me a couple of choices, and the first few were just like, no. But then that last one, I opened up that last file and I was like, oh my gosh, that's it.
Yeah.
Because it had the subtle Christian symbolism in it.
Yeah.
That was also, you know, the cross looks like a crossroad in our
Right.
logo. So it's subtle, but it's definitely there. And I felt like, you know, this was going to be a God-centered business regardless. And so I ended up choosing that logo, and I printed it on a little slip of paper. And so back to what you were asking me, 6 months or so before, my place of employment was a little rough because of, you know, some of the ethical concerns and just the way that things were being run, and I would get so discouraged, and I would just pull out that little piece of paper that had that logo on it, and I'd look at it and go, one day, you're gonna be something, one day.
You had a vision.
And I just focused on that logo, and it got me through those last 6 months. So about 6 months then, you know, it's about how long it took.
Wow, you went out there, and you know, you went out there and launched it, and what did you do prior to launching? You were telling me about some debt reduction things that you did.
My husband and I had started studying the total money makeover by Dave Ramsey.
Right.
And so we did that, and we, you know, just revamped our finances, and we started setting things aside and, you know, spending less money and using cash to buy things, which saves a lot of money. And so when I quit my job, we didn't have a whole lot saved up, but we got by. We got by on what my husband was making, and we just didn't spend any money, and we didn't go out to eat, and we didn't go to movies. We didn't spend any money.
Wow. Yeah.
And it took 3 or 4 months before we started getting a paycheck of any kind from the new company.
And that takes us to our next question about starting a new company. How did you get your first client when you started the new company?
Well, one of the first things I did was once I left my previous employer, I sent out an email to all of my contacts, everybody that I knew, saying, if you need to reach me, not looking for work, but just if you need to reach me, here's my new email address and phone number and stuff, that I was no longer with the previous company. And then people just started calling me.
Wow. Now, so they call you based on, they must have called you based on your reputation from the work you have been doing? Which
was something that really surprised me. I didn't really get that I was that well respected until I was out there on my own. And, that was just a kind of an eye-opening experience. But it just kind of proves if you work hard and do a good job that you will be recognized for it. It just might take a little while.
Yeah. And so how long has it been now since you've been on your own?
We're approaching our 6-year anniversary this coming February.
Wow, wow. And so, so now you've got your all of your accreditations and your certifications, even to do business with the government. Now, it looks like I saw you do business in Mississippi.
I'm licensed in 11 states.
Wow.
The company is licensed in 4 or 5.
Wow. So you can take care of it. You know, if you're licensed there, you'll do business and we'll travel.
Well, we have to get an agent. The way that it works is you have to get an agent in another state, at least for engineering. You have to have an agent, and then you have to register the company in that state with the Secretary of State. Then you can apply for a certificate of authorization to offer engineering in that state.
Okay, okay, understand. Well, see, you know, that's what we try to learn how you do it. It's kind of like an education entrepreneur show. So we appreciate you giving us this information. Now, you were telling me, how did you finance the business once you opened it? I know you did your debt reduction strategy.
Right. Well, I had 2 partners to begin with, and we each kind of, you know, on our own credit card or whatever, purchased one little thing or the other, and we just started with each of us having just a little bit of debt, which as we started to bring money in, we back paid ourselves from day one for the salaries we didn't get for the hours we put in from day one. And we just gradually started paying ourselves. Sometimes we'd get 2 or 3 checks at a time as money started to come in to catch us up from all the work we had done already and to pay us back for the debts that we had each incurred until the company didn't owe the owners anything. And each of the owners, we together put in $1,000 to start the first checking account based on the percentage of stock shares that we were purchasing.
Wow. Wow. And so that strategy worked out. So do you recommend a strategy like that for a new person in business?
Know your partners really well. I ended up having to buy my partners out, but it worked out okay for us.
Understand. Now, one of the things you were telling me about your business and how you do business now is you said that 80% of your business is repeat business.
Yeah.
How does that work?
It works by doing a good job. One of the really signature projects for us is that we designed the football practice fields and the site for the football field house for the University of South Alabama. It was our first opportunity to do anything for the University of South Alabama. So we wanted to make sure we did a good job. And we try to treat every project like it's the first one. It's our first chance to give a good opportunity, even though it's our second or third. And at the university, we performed so well that they've hired us over and over and over and over since then. But one of the things that really, I guess, impressed them is when we were involved in the football program. You know, it's a new football program. It's only in its third year now. And so in early 2008, we started designing the facilities for the football program. Well, when they hired Coach Joey Jones, they took him around to show him where they were pouring the slab for the field house, and word that got back to us was that, you know, he didn't think it would be a good idea to have to drive his new recruits through the slum of Hillsdale to get them to the field house. So we needed a new road, and that changed the entire site design for the field house. And they still needed to have it completed in time for the coming up spring practices and stuff like that. So it couldn't be slowed down. And we had to survey through some woods that we had not surveyed. So I had to redesign the site. We had to survey through the woods. I had the crew surveying through the woods while I was redesigning the site. In about 2 weeks' time, we gave them entire new design for the field house site.
Wow.
And kept the project right on track, and the contractors didn't have any problems with our plans that caused any hiccups or change orders or anything like that. So that's pretty much the reason I believe they keep coming back.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you've got great customer service. Well, Ms. Fisher, you'll be surprised to know that we're already out of time. Now, very quickly, how many employees do you have in your company?
About 12.
12, wow. And
5 civil engineers, 2 geologists.
Wow, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Hopefully we can do this again because you got a lot of information on your company and even your website. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you again. Thank you so much. And that's going to do it for us on this segment of Visions. Please stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us on this edition of Vision. Cedric Varner. In the studio on this segment is Tina Kalma, who is the president of Southern Directional Incorporated out of Wilsonville, Alabama.
Yes.
Tina, thanks for being here with us on this edition of Visions. We're doing a feature on women in business, and so we thank you for coming.
Thank you.
You have a unique business.
I do.
So we wanted to let our viewers and our audience know about that. Southern Directional. What do you do with your company, Southern Directional?
Southern Directional is an underground utility contractor.
Okay. Okay. Now, underground utility. You got to go slow with me. So, underground utilities contractor, and one of the things that you were telling me that you do is that you do boring.
We do boring. Yes, we do.
And so, I've been asking you over and over. Now, tell me about this boring. So when you do boring, what is it that you're doing?
We are drilling under something. It could be a road, it could be a parking lot, it could be a building. Anything that you don't want to disturb above ground, we drill underground.
To make sure that you're getting where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you do boring and you're drilling underground, so you have contracts with like utilities companies to
We do.
To drill?
We do. We do water, gas, sewer, storm sewer, and electrical conduit.
Okay. So, for example, I was driving in and I saw the Alagasco workers out there. They're doing something on the ground. And
Right.
so, for example, your company would have been one of those who may have used boring, or you use the word digging.
Right. We are an Alagasco Energen contractor. We do new installation as well as replacement.
Okay. And so when you